Welcome back to Headlines. I'm Wes Austin, and these are today's top stories. First, Hillary Clinton bashed Republican women and said that a GOP female president would just be a handmaiden to the patriarchy. Hillary's definition of a strong woman was those who agree with Hillary Clinton. Then, the World Health Organization kicked off its luxury 9-day summit in Geneva while warning it may not survive without U.S. funding. So they're broke, but not too broke to host a global pity party with 8,000 of their closest taxpayer-funded friends. Next, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz compares ICE to the Gestapo during a law school commencement speech. Most commencement speeches talk about bright futures, but Walz's basically just said, "Congratulations on your law degree. By the way, we're living in Nazi Germany." And finally, a Mexican Navy ship crashed into the Brooklyn Bridge, and Chuck Schumer tried to blame Trump and Doge. Of course, because the president doesn't have the power to remove illegal immigrants from the country, but he does have the power to control the East River's undercurrents. Okay, let's dive in. Hillary Clinton says that Republican women are handmaidens to the patriarchy, except for Liz Cheney. So, apparently the only way to escape the patriarchy is to lose your primary by 40 points. Hillary was asked what advice she had for the first female president of the United States. I'm guessing it was to store your emails on a private email server, but let's see what Hillary said.
First of all, don't be a handmaiden to the patriarchy, which kind of eliminates every woman on the other side of the aisle, except for very few. Lisa Murkowski.
Liz Cheney.
Yeah, there's a few.
Hillary then tells us who would be a good president.
A woman runs who I think would be a good president, as I thought Kamala Harris would be, and as I knew I would be. I will support that woman.
It's like watching a woman write a Yelp review for herself. Later in the conference, Hillary explained how to maintain a happy marriage. The World Health Organization is facing an existential crisis as it kicked off its 9-day annual meeting in Geneva, Switzerland. The WHO is struggling financially following the United States withdrawal and funding cuts announced by President Trump. They're also facing reduced contributions from other Western nations, many of which are shifting resources from humanitarian aid to defense. So, the WHO's annual meeting kicked off with 8,000 attendees flying to Switzerland for 9 days to discuss a funding shortfall. This is proof that you just can't fix stupid. WHO officials say that without more funding, they might not be able to respond to another pandemic, which would be a refreshing change from actively making it worse. While giving a commencement speech at the University of Minnesota Law School, Tim Walz branded ICE officers as President Trump's modern-day Gestapo.
Trump's modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets. They're in unmarked vans, wearing masks, being shipped off to foreign torture dungeons. No chance to mount a defense, not even a chance to kiss a loved one goodbye, just grabbed up by masked agents, shoved into those vans, and disappeared.
Well, if anyone knows what it's like to be grabbed in the dark and hauled into a dungeon, it's Tim Walz, but he usually pays extra for that. A Mexican Navy ship appeared to attempt to pass under the Brooklyn Bridge, but the top of its 3 masts crashed into it, leaving 2 people dead and over a dozen people injured. And Chuck Schumer is trying to blame President Trump. Chuck Schumer was quick to try to blame President Trump and Doge for the crash, saying this in a statement: "We know that the Trump administration has been meddling in U.S. Coast Guard operations, from staffing to command and comms, and I have the general sense of a Doge dysfunction in parts of the Coast Guard, to put it mildly. After being fully briefed on last night's Brooklyn Bridge accident, one thing is very clear. There are many more questions than answers as to how the accident occurred and whether it could have been prevented." A Mexican Navy ship hit the Brooklyn Bridge, and Schumer is trying to blame Trump. Because obviously, Trump controls maritime navigation, ocean currents, and the height of the Brooklyn Bridge. Thanks for watching Headlines. I'm Wes Austin. Good night.